The Obby Oss is a great masque brought out to dance on the streets of Padstow at May Day. Expert dancers take their place in succession inside the masque, which is an expansive disc held on the shoulders, with headroom for a male face, which ambiguously shows a strip of white wall as either moustache or eyebrows, and thus the painted eyes open or close, according to the figure of the dance and the interpretation of the individual in the crowd. Locals dress in white with red or blue sash and belt. The Oss is led dancing to the traditional songs through the streets by a teaser who manipulates the dance steps with a kind of scepter like a heart or womb on a stick. It is like a temptation which the Oss snaps at with the lower face of the steed, the snapper like a crocodile's snout that goes tick-tock. From time to time the music changes, and the Oss bows down to the ground to the slow verses of the day's song, a dirge for its death, it seems. But that song ends, and up jumps the Oss, renewed and full of summer energy. There are also, dressed as for a ragged ascot in battered grey toppers, two masters of ceremony who lead the procession, as there are two Osses, the blue ribbon or temperance Oss and the red Oss. Nobody knows how old this potent ceremony is. It is sometimes said that the masque was brought back from Africa or the East by a voyager. There is always an O and a B marked on the cap, which some say could be his initials, or even the initials of some god. The effect of the dancing, the singing, the music from the great thudding drum and the handy squeeze box or melodeon, and the ambiguous face and spinning disc that seems to throw off serial images of itself down the street, is to create a kind of trance in the participants, where the mundane cares seem to be smoothed from the human faces as they dance and sing, and show themselves serene and wise, as though another world had been recalled in the streets of Padstow, just for today, and all such May days, past and future.
Unite, and let us all unite, for summer is to come unto day. And whither we are going, we will all unite in the merry morning of May. I warn you, today, to go to the greenwood and fetch your mail in the merry morning of May.
Obeah Oss, a personal view. The Oss shaking his mask, spinning his torrents, through the human torrents in the streets, pausing, collapsing into death. The music changes. Up he gets, dancing his whirling dance in black-white, with red tongue flapping of a dragon. A tornado mastering the crowds of vortices, all dancing, to the drum thud and the little squeeze boxes, dancing his ambiguous face before them all. If these snow-white eyebrows are moustaches, then he is dancing in his sleep. And if they are eyebrows, then his eyes are glaring open below them as he steps into us, a tide of white arms. Dancing with the Oss, by tradition, makes all the people beautiful. The spinning street, a tabernacle of faces. The Oss and rider in one.
This ceremony, which dates back to pagans, hails the coming of summer and of new life. So we decorate our streets with boughs of sycamore and wear tulips and cowslips in our buttonholes. First of all, you hear the morning song, which starts at midnight on the last day in April, After that, the singers call at people's houses and rouse them from their beds with a May Day greeting. It is a great honour to be roused in Padstow. This carries on until the early hours of the morning, when everyone goes to bed to work up energy for what is coming later on. About 11 o'clock, the Obby Oss comes out of the Golden Lion and dances round the town until midnight. The Oss is a ghastly-looking creature, made of tarred canvas and carried by a man. It is then that you hear the day song sung. Here are a few lines from it. Oh, where is St. George? Oh, where is he, oh? He's out in his longboat on the salt sea, oh.
The working by a white-clad community in this tradition, in sunshine, the sheer black shining mask of carapace, the disc of a black mirror dancing, the red jaws flapping, the white hair flowing, like still water torn on the brink of dark cataracts, forges after images stretching down the sun-flooded streets, the great black spot that dazzles us as it tilts and swings, shadow of shadows, in the brightest light, dazzling dark, searchlight of black light, gestural shadows peeling off like the segments of a virtual dragon, constructing a corridor of dancing steeds, a corridor of masks danced by the one Oss, the one rider with a pointed hat, his red ribboned spiring cap. The snapper clacks, tick-tock. I know her by her gait. By one tradition, the Oss is very heavy pregnant, dancing birth, the mother Oss nightmare, disk of the sun eclipsed, mother dancing labor as moon puts the sun out.
You just try and visualize now a round hoop, about 5 feet in diameter, on my shoulders. Around the hoop there's this gown. In the front there's this long piece of wood coming out with a weird looking mouth fixed on it. That's what we call the snappers. And at the back there's this horse's tail, horsehair we have for the tail. And on my head there's this tall, weird-looking dunce's cap, weird-looking mask. Well, that's the Obby Oss itself, you see. And, of course, dancing with the Oss is, of course, the teaser. And this teaser, he's dressed in white. He's carrying around a club with him. And, of course, he's teasing this Obby Oss the whole of the day. And, of course, there are times when the tune changes, when the Obby Oss sort of dies and the teaser go down on the ground with him. This is the tune. You must hear this one. Oh, where is St. George? Oh, where is he? Oh, he's out in his longboat all on the salt sea. Oh, up flies the kite, down falls the lark. And Ursula birdhood, she had an old yaw, and she died in her old car.
Sing and tell joyful strain, for the sunburn
By tradition, in that one day and night, it never rains. Dark water cloud has gathered here as into a dancing well. All water shines within this circle, and in that dancing their faces fall silent and concentrate as though their true selves were riding a steed of themselves. She turns us all into herself, the invisible riders on the crowded osses, by tilting at us with her disc and big skirt. This is how we came into the world. The black hole scooping dance steps out of the night, in a screwing motion, in a slow dance, and we depart under such skirts. Who rides the mare like a cresting face? The ever-coming one. She snaps at us as the child reins us into her circle.
Here he comes now. The folk who only went to bed at 2 o'clock this morning still sing with plenty of life in them. Yes, I can see they're excited too, same as I am. The Oss is now dancing outside the Golden Lion, and Mac, he's a teaser, has joined the throng. He dances in front of the Oss and teases it by waving a painted club and never taking his eyes off of him. He's been on the job these last 47 years. The Oss is a real gassy-looking thing, and is carried by Walter Bate. It's a tarred canvas skirt supported by a wooden hoop. His head is painted with great fierce white eyes and a large red mouth. On his head is a tall witch's cap. Scares visitors too. He has a pair of snappers in his mouth, which he snaps at the crowd and makes the young maidens scream. Now and again, he'll lift up his skirt to try and catch a young maiden under it. He's got her. Rose Walker, yes. He's caught her under her skirt. She'll be married within the year. Poor old Rose.
Some idiots started the Eton boating song. Keep the tradition, yelled the elder dancers, concerned that the year should roll on its big hips through its narrow passages and get born by dancing. These two letters, by tradition, on the spiring upper mask, O and B, Obs Oss, Obeah Oss, as though the three faces were one face, snapper, face, and faces opposite, counter-changing as it dances, from waking to sleeping, from dead to alive, turning on the question whether those are eyebrows or moustache altering the countenance, the whole tradition in the one round saddle. It rolls in again with its contradicting shadow, face and counterface, face and antiface, and the contradictory humans dance, repeat the dreaming face all around, dancing and dreaming, dreaming and dancing. The ordinary faces ever wrestling in their two sides, now serene. The faces composing themselves out of all lopsidedness, no more face wrestling. The town face, united, one and all.
Now we fare you well, and we bid you all good cheer, for summer is the come unto day. We'll call once more unto your house before another year
With the sense of a proper job, emerging from the dance of trance, full of humour and good life, because all met and were united there, as tradition has it, beyond the everyday wrestle of alternatives. As the traditional song says, united. They were one. Now they recognize themselves again, rubbing their eyes and declaring, "It was you there then, and I know you well now." A taste of after things before their time, the two worlds at peace, knowing each other. Thus the sun shines in the black disk, the sun shining in the darkness at noon. I came upon the tradition dance, into the energy pumped up from the ground, from the percussion of the feet, into the otherworldly throbbing and tilt of the black disk, the sun flashing in this hypno-machine. It spelt us, one and all, and that made me cry. Including myself, the dancers were so cocky and spry. The Oss was an utter strangeness in the ordinary street, and in that strangeness we knew each other as we were known. So tears spurted from my eyes like sovereign faucets. The dance that suited the Cornish women, whose powerful faces, if careworn, are challenging in repose, and in this dancing street the energy made them beautiful, one and all. Reflections of the ugly beauty of the Oss, who danced with white whiskers like a Chinese sage, of activity and longevity over black rock, in which the sun danced dazzling its crimson tongue and sparring tall hat, its open and shut dreaming mask keeping the tradition. The teaser traditionally danced by a bloke, all in white except for his ribbon slash and a bunch of spring flowers pinned to his breast, flourishing a cushion resembling a heart nailed to a stick. His dance was to wave his wand under the snapper's snout, guiding the monster, a lion tamer with a bone conducting the whirling of the Oss. Now women assume that office forbidden to them, more each year, experimentally, as it alters the tradition. We saw many a woman offer an infant, a baby to the Oss, who bowed his disc and snapped at them gently.
The tradition goes back to time immemorial. It's a pagan origin, a fertility, ancient fertility rite, all thousands of years. The town itself, street corners be decked with sycamore, ash, maypole, bluebells, primroses, cowslips, gillyflowers. All the mums and dads and children going around with their little buttonholes, Everybody wearing white. Everything's looking so springy, everything's looking so nice, so fertile as possible. And, of course, the only thing that's black in the town is the Obby Oss itself, see.
The two forms are the red and the blue Oss. Both have masters of ceremony leading their route in formal gear. The red Oss master has this year, many years ago, notable bags under his eyes, due to the early rising on May Day and drinking to the dawn, but also a doctor's serious air, belonging to the time when physicians wore frock coats, and he danced and casually supped out of a lager can, hailing friends as he danced, or as it danced him. He was a master of the step. The strange, wild paces were taken proud, with chest puffed out in watch-chained waistcoat, grey topper, tailcoat, stock, and an air both of a doctor and a millionaire. The MC of the Blue Oss, by contrast on that day, bristled a tidy sergeant major's tash, but from under his grey topper when he spun, like a personal serpent flew a long, grizzled and glossy ponytail, switching to the dance across his back. Arse-tail, very groomed. We Oss-flowed down from Prideaux Place. The air had told us of his doubt when his father lay dead in the hall, the foreman dancer requesting very gently on May Day whether it was permitted that the dancers dance round the house and in the knot garden dance, with muffled music, or in silence better, and strike up again when they were leaving. Yes, he declared, they should come up into the house of mourning. The dance changes all. The Oss is a conductor of the dead as well as the living, and to strike up again when the soul was safely passed through the black hoop, safely passed and cradled. The Oss bowed to the catafalque and left, and outside the music started up, thumping big Brenton drum and versatile squeeze box. Offering children to the Oss would ease their passage as they saw the counter changes spinning, or offering to the presenter to Oss offer to the cool blazing of the face. The Oss would bow with its great disc tilting, the sun shining in its blackness, and the child, if old enough to know, would bow back. A pregnant woman took up the dance with the Oss, which paused and bowed to the woman, who stood akimbo as the child fetus bowed back to the Oss. Sheaves and sleeves of green tied to every corner lamppost, the sparring maypole a ship's mast. I glimpsed the man inside the Oss, no illusion dispelled. I knew he was hidden there, as I knew that the Oss danced. The flap over his face had slightly shifted, which was the lower jaw and flaming tongue through which he saw and breathed. Underneath, He is in dancer's trance, and the mask flap looks like a painted cerecloth, dislodged a little. Under, the face serene, and, deep in the disc, the eyes half closed, and the step unfaltering.
Ciao, John.
See you along. Night. Don't forget. See you tomorrow, mate.
Obby Oss was written and read by Peter Redgrove. With thanks to the people of Padstow, the recordings of the Obby Oss were made by Doc Rowe, and the programme was produced by Tim D.